The temporary truce between China and the U.S. on tariffs has caused a stock market surge, but it's not wiping out uncertainty over tariffs. Importers say container traffic at our local ports is quickly slowing down. Fox 13's Lauren Donovan is joining us from the Port of Seattle.
Yeah, she spoke to one small business owner who's been losing sleep over her delayed shipping container.
Yeah, so Hannah imports French antiques for a living. She ships them out of Belgium. They travel through the Panama Canal before coming up the coast to us here in Washington. And she says that's a trek that typically takes between 28 to 40 days max. But this time around, it's taken more than 60. She tells me every single step of the way, that cargo ship carrying her prized investment has been hit with delays.
Hi friends, we're back with Container Watch, the high stakes tracking of a maritime container as it makes its way across the world during a trade war.
Time is running short for French antique importer Hannah Wilson.
That 40-foot container that's now traveling off around the world really does have all of my, all of my capital in it.
We are 1 week away from her pop-up in Georgetown. She's rented a gallery for 10 days to sell treasures from the 1800s, but unfortunately, those wares from Normandy and Provence have yet to reach the Port of Seattle.
My heart rate is up. I know we can pull it off.
But as the small business owner from Port Townsend shared on her Instagram post, this container is the largest, biggest investment she's ever made in her business, and it's been keeping her up at night. Telling me the last time she did this back in the fall, she didn't feel the pinch.
I got in the water right before the April 4th announcements, essentially. The main thing is that I think once President Trump was elected and started using the word tariff, people everywhere who were trying to export or import put their containers in the water or started sending, 10 containers instead of 1. Right now, there aren't very many boats in the water, which just means that last surge of people putting in before tariffs has dried up.
Hannah explains the margins are tight for antique dealers like her. Right now, she's up against a 10% tax on French goods, but notes that if it were to go up to 20, it would be devastating. Telling me other folks in her industry have already buckled because of it.
The impact on small businesses is huge.
As a swarm of cargo ships descends upon our neighbors up north in Vancouver, BC, there's only a dozen or so in Puget Sound waters. I know that could be subject to change, though. The Northwest Seaport Alliance expects that importers will be capitalizing on this pause of tariffs with China to bring in more goods here to the U.S. Reporting at the port, Lauren Donovan, Fox 13 News.
And to add to Lauren's report, the Northwest Seaport Alliance has just released its first ever weekly update. It's giving us a better picture of the tariff impact locally at the ports of Seattle and Tacoma. So data from the Alliance shows so far that void sailings, which are planned but canceled sailings, are up. For example, 17 scheduled cargo ships scheduled for our waters between May and June are simply not making the trip. And despite uncertainty, imports actually took a big jump at the end of April, up 28% compared to April 2024, but running contrary to that increase is a decline in truck traffic. The year-to-date average for 2025 has dropped by nearly 15%.